What's going on, everybody? It's AG here. Today we're going to take a look at my updated ACC off-season power rankings. Now, this is going to be the last ACC power ranking I'll be doing until actually the preseason. So like the week before the season starts, I'll do another one. But going into the summer, going in, to this long stretch to the final bit of off-season, these are my current power rankings. Let's go ahead and get started. Now, join me down in the comment section while we're going along. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your rankings. Let me know all that stuff down below. Now, I will say before we get too into the list, this isn't necessarily saying who I think is going to win the conference or anything like that, but if I was a betting guy, if they're playing head-to-head, who I would be taking. All right, so starting off, number 17, Virginia. Last season, 3-9. Tony Elliott, not really a good job there. Now, Virginia's kind of a tough place to win, but Rocco Mendenhall did some all right things there. But Tony Elliott, is this his last year there? We'll see. I don't see it getting any better this year, though. Number 16, Stanford. All right. Last season, 3-9, come over from the Pac-12. Similar situation. I don't see them being very good this year either. There's kind of like there's some clear tiers in the ACC, I would say. This bottom tier, these bottom 3 or 4 teams are all on a completely different level than everybody else. Stanford, they've got some good weapons. They've got a really good outside receiver, but other than that, not really a lot of promise. Number 15, Pitt. All right, the only reason they're above these teams, similar situation. They're in this bottom tier as well. But Pat Naruduzzi has won at times. Think back to when he had Kenny Pickett. So I gave them a little bit of a boost here with, head coach alone. But still, this team is not going to be competing in the ACC. All right, number 14, Wake Forest. They're in this tier as well. All right, last season, 4-8. Kind of similar with Pat Naruduzzi. All right, Dave Clawson has kind of earned the respect, I guess, to, be a level above some of these other coaches in the ACC. So that kind of elevates Wake Forest. But I think they finished... Heck, they might have finished last year in actually ACC standing, so I don't see it getting much better this year either. All right, number 13. All right, so you're into like the next little middle tier now. Duke, last season 8-5. They have a lot of changes from last season. Riley Leonard, gone to Notre Dame at quarterback. Mike Elko, gone to Texas A&M as head coach. They also lose a ton of other roster pieces. They bring in Manny Diaz as their head coach. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of that hire. I've said that before. He's been in the ACC in the past and didn't really do very well at Miami. They also bring in quarterback Maalik Murphy from Texas. Looked kind of spotty when he came in for Texas for Quinn Ewers, but we'll see how they do. Maalik Murphy has some upside, but I don't see Duke being very good this year. I'm not a big believer in Manny Diaz. All right, number 12, they're in this middle tier as well. North Carolina. Mack Brown, last season 8-5. They've got Omarion Hampton back. He'll be an All-American top running back, but they lose Drake Maye. All right, they lost a top 5 quarterback in the NFL draft. So you lose that and you were still 8-5. Are things going to get better? Probably not. All right, number 11. All right, so this is where you start to see a little upside here. I could see these teams kind of maybe making some noise. Boston College, last season 7-6. All right, they bring in head coach Bill O'Brien. You've got Thomas Castellanos back at quarterback. He's a really good dual threat guy. He can really run it very well. I'm curious to see how him and Bill O'Brien's offensives kind of merge a little bit, but definitely intriguing. Bill O'Brien wasn't bad at Penn State, really. All right, number 10, Cal. Coming over from the Pac-12. Last season, 6-7. Not bad in a pretty stacked Pac-12 last year. They're actually pretty good. They've got their running back, Jaden Ott, pictured here. He's really good. Could be a potential, top 10 running back in the country. They bring in North Texas' quarterback. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. But he put up some really good stats in North Texas last year, so their offense should be pretty explosive. All right, number 9, Syracuse. So we're slowly getting into that territory where I see kind of borderline contenders. Syracuse, all right, last season 6-7, but they've got a lot of promise this year. All right, you've got Kyle Mccord coming over, quarterback from Ohio State. I don't really think he was the problem at Ohio State. He put up some good numbers. Their new head coach, Fran Brown, widely regarded as a great recruiter coming from Georgia. And he's already loaded up in the transfer portal. This is the most talented team Syracuse has probably ever had, at least in recent memory. But Fran Brown has got them projecting up. All right, they're trending up for sure. Anytime you can get Ohio State starting quarterback to transfer to you, whether he was good or not, that's a good thing. All right, number 8, Georgia Tech. Okay, Georgia Tech, kind of an okay year last year, not bad, trending in the right direction. Last season, 7-6. Haynes King at quarterback, really good dual threat guy, former transfer of Texas A&M. They kind of played with Georgia a little bit at the end of the season. Georgia Tech is going to upset some teams this year and probably throw a wrench in this ACC race. I'm not saying they're going to win the ACC, but I would see them beating one of the teams above them. Definitely possible. On number 7, SMU, new kids on the block, coming over from the American Conference. Last season, 11-3, really good, but that was a G5 conference. How are they going to look week in and week out in a power conference? We're going to see. They've got their quarterback back, Preston Stone. They were really good last year, lost to Oklahoma and TCU. Preston Stone was out for their bowl game against Boston College, so I'm not going to take too much into that. But SMU, combined with the team they had last year, combined with the recruiting class, transfer-wise they have coming in, they could be making some noise quick in the ACC. Number 6, Virginia Tech. Last season, 7-6, really good season. Kylon Drones is back at quarterback. They've got a lot of talent coming back from last year. There are a lot of people's sleeper pick that I've seen. All right, a lot of people kind of asking why are they not in my top tier. They're really close. All right, I think they definitely could make a run at the ACC championship. We'll see what happens. They play not necessarily a tough non-conference, but we'll see a lot about them early. They play Rutgers, a team I'm really high on this year in the non-con, so we'll see kind of how they measure up there. I think Rutgers beat them last year, so we'll be able to tell a lot early about Virginia Tech. Number 5, Louisville. Last season, 10-4. All right, they made the ACC championship year 1 under Jeff Brohm. Now, that was even with kind of some spotty play at quarterback. They bring in Tyler Shuck from Texas Tech, formerly of Oregon as well. Now, he's kind of got some injury history here, but Louisville has brought in a ton of transfers to kind of even beef up the team they had last year, which made the ACC championship. No reason this team can't be even better than they were last year. They even brought in running back Penny Boone from Toledo. He was a top 10 running back production-wise last year, but he left the program. All right, apparently he got beat out in spring ball by somebody they already had, so they're rolling with what they got, which means they've got some serious talent in that backfield is what I'm getting at there. On number 4, Florida State. Last season, 13-1. You know the story. They lost Jordan Travis, missed out on the college football playoff. But Mike Norvell has completely revamped this team with the transfer portal. They're stacked. All right, and I had question marks at the end of the season because they lost so much talent. But they bring in particular, DJ Uiagalaleli at quarterback, formerly of Clemson, Oregon State. He's a winner. All right? He's not going to put the most stats on the board, but he is going to win ball games. They have also brought in a ton of other talent, particularly on defense and that defensive line. From the portal, Florida State's going to be pretty good again. All right, now getting in the top 3 here. All right, so I'd say these top 5 are on a completely different tier than everybody else. But number 3, Miami. Last season, 7-6. You've got Cam Ward coming over from Washington State. You've got Damian Martinez coming over from Oregon State at running back. They have absolutely destroyed it in the transfer portal. This is Mario Cristobal's most talented team yet, whether it's at Miami, whether it's at Oregon. You look at their year last year. I realize they went 7-6, but they were about this close to having 10 wins. Like you take that Georgia Tech game where they didn't knee, they win that one. Let's say they beat Florida State. Let's say they beat Clemson. They were really close to kind of getting to a 10-win season. Miami, I think, should be a force next year. All right, NC State, number 2. Last season, 9-4. They bring in quarterback Grayson McCall at a quarterback from Coastal Carolina. I think this is Dave Doran's most talented team he's had at NC State. He's done really good there. Now, they don't always reach double-digit wins, but Dave Doran has got them really consistent on the 8-9 win ratio. I think they kind of get over the hump this year. I think this could be a potential college football playoff team this year. They play Tennessee in the non-con, so we're going to know pretty early what they're capable of. All right, number 1, Clemson. All right, Clemson last season 9-4. You've got Cade Klubnik back, Dabo Swinney. All right, him and Cade Klubnik kind of been on this trajectory here. All right, 9 wins. They've been kind of right on that outside looking in of kind of reaching that ACC championship, making the college football playoff. I think this is the year they get over the hump. Now, they lost a lot of talent to the transfer portal. Obviously, didn't recoup it in the transfer portal. But can they win the ACC? We'll see. They play Georgia in the non-con. That's going to tell you everything week 1 what this team's made of. Now, Clemson, I think, is really talented. I think they're talented enough to win the ACC, but they play a brutal schedule. I don't know if they can make it through it undefeated, but still, I think regardless, even if they lose 2 games, they're still going to make the college football playoff with 2 losses. But those are my ACC power rankings. Let me know yours. What do you think of this list? Who would you move up? Who would you move down? Let me know. Comment down below. Make sure to like this video. And most importantly, subscribe.